Have you ever paused to consider that the very foods gracing your breakfast table, the comforting snacks you reach for, or the seemingly innocuous ingredients in your favorite meals might be quietly, insidiously eroding the very organ that sustains your life? It's a chilling thought, yet one that demands our attention, especially as we navigate the landscape of life after 70. As the decades accrue, our magnificent bodies undergo subtle yet significant transformations. What was once easily metabolized or enjoyed without a flicker of concern might now carry hidden risks, transforming from benign sustenance into a silent saboteur. The unvarnished truth is that some everyday foods, items you might genuinely believe are harmless or even actively beneficial, could, unbeknownst to you, be placing an unbearable strain on your heart, chipping away at its resilience one bite at a time. This isn't a narrative designed to incite panic, but rather to empower through profound awareness. We are about to embark on an illuminating journey, pulling back the curtain on 8 specific food categories that have a documented propensity to inflict silent damage upon the cardiovascular system, particularly for individuals in their golden years. These are the dietary culprits that can stealthily elevate blood pressure, gradually stiffen arteries, and slowly but surely diminish the inherent strength of your heart, often without providing any clear, immediate warning signs. Stay with us until the very end, for the profound insights shared within these words hold the potential to do more than merely help you avert a serious health crisis. They could unlock a newfound sense of vigor, inject fresh energy into your days, and grant you a level of physical control and vitality you might not have experienced in years. It's time to transform unconscious habits into conscious choices, steering your heart towards a future of sustained health and independence. No. 1. Processed meats, the hidden chambers of sodium and nitrates. Among the most pervasive yet frequently underestimated dietary threats to an aging heart are processed meats. These are the staples of convenience, the familiar companions to our breakfasts, lunches, and even dinners. The crispy bacon, the savory sausage links, the thinly sliced deli turkey or ham layered into a sandwich. For many, they represent comfort, tradition, and an easy solution to meal preparation, deeply woven into the fabric of daily eating habits spanning decades. Yet, beneath their appealing convenience lies a less palatable truth, a startling abundance of hidden sodium and chemical preservatives, each bite a miniature payload designed to preserve shelf life at the potential cost of cardiovascular health. Processed meats are notorious for their high concentrations of sodium, often far exceeding what a single meal should contain, alongside nitrates and other artificial additives. These components conspire to create a slow, persistent assault on the heart. The excessive sodium content forces the body to retain more fluid in an attempt to dilute the salt, thereby increasing blood volume and, consequently, forcing the heart to labor harder to circulate blood throughout the body. Over an extended period, this sustained increase in workload translates into elevated blood pressure, a condition known as hypertension, and a gradual hardening of the arterial walls, diminishing their natural elasticity. For someone in their 70s whose circulatory system may already be less efficient and whose blood vessels have naturally lost some of their youthful pliability, these effects are amplified, escalating the risk of serious cardiac events like stroke, heart attack, and even chronic heart failure. What a body might have easily managed in its 40s or 50s now poses a significantly greater threat. The insidious nature of processed meats is further compounded by their often deceptive taste profile. Many varieties, despite their dangerously high sodium content, do not register as overtly salty to the palate. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, I don't add salt to my food, so I must be fine, overlooking the fact that the salt is already inextricably cooked into the product. A mere 2 slices of certain deli meats can contain more sodium than an entire, thoughtfully prepared homemade meal. Consider the story of Gerald, a sprightly 76-year-old who, for years, enjoyed a turkey sandwich almost every afternoon. Turkey, he reasoned, sounded like a healthy choice. What he didn't realize was that the pre-packaged deli turkey he favored was laden with hidden sodium and preservatives. It wasn't until a mild cardiac episode prompted a deeper dive into his lifestyle that his doctor revealed the shocking reality. That seemingly innocuous sandwich was delivering nearly half his daily recommended sodium intake in a single sitting. Gerald's journey towards recovery began with a simple but profound change. He swapped the deli slices for fresh turkey breast, roasted and seasoned at home with flavorful herbs. This small adjustment, while requiring a touch more effort, yielded remarkable results. Within months, his blood pressure readings improved, and more importantly, he felt a tangible shift in his overall well-being. A clearer mind, renewed energy, and a noticeable lightness in his chest. The fundamental takeaway here isn't a blanket condemnation of all meat, but a fervent plea for awareness. If your meats come in vacuum-sealed packaging, boast an unusually long shelf life, or are packed with ingredients that read more like a chemical formula than a food item, they are likely doing more harm than good to your precious cardiovascular system. For individuals who cherish their health, yearn for sustained activity, and aspire to remain strong and independent well into their later years, embracing these seemingly minor dietary shifts can yield monumental health dividends. It transcends mere clean eating. It's about consciously alleviating the burden on your heart, one informed choice at a time. If you found this in-depth analysis of processed meats valuable and are considering how to apply it, please comment with the number 1 below to let us know. Your engagement helps us understand what content resonates most with you. 2 trans fats, the legacy of a chemical shortcut. Another formidable, albeit often forgotten, silent attacker of the aging heart is trans fat. While many consumers, buoyed by public health campaigns and policy changes, might assume these detrimental fats have been entirely eradicated or phased out, the uncomfortable truth is they persist. They lurk in small yet cumulatively dangerous quantities, particularly in the very foods many seniors grew up with and continue to enjoy out of habit or comfort. Trans fats are a byproduct of a food processing technique called hydrogenation, designed to extend the shelf life of products and improve their texture. You'll primarily encounter them in packaged baked goods, the cookies, pies, and crackers found on supermarket shelves, and surprisingly, in certain frozen pizzas, margarine spreads, and even some non-dairy creamers. These are the very items many older adults routinely incorporated into their diets for decades, often without a second thought. The danger posed by trans fats is multifaceted and severe. Unlike other fats, trans fats possess a unique double whammy effect on cholesterol levels. They not only elevate levels of bad low-density lipoprotein, LDLDL cholesterol, but simultaneously diminish levels of good high-density lipoprotein, HDL cholesterol, which plays a crucial role in clearing cholesterol from the arteries. This dual assault leads to a rapid hardening and narrowing of artery walls, significantly increasing the risk of heart attack and stroke, especially for adults over 70, whose blood vessels naturally become less flexible with age. It's a bit like introducing a viscous, sticky sludge into an already aging plumbing system. Eventually, the flow becomes sluggish, pressure builds, and structural damage begins to manifest. In the delicate network of your arteries, such damage can indeed be fatal if left unchecked. What makes trans fats particularly insidious is that even minute quantities can be harmful. The Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has explicitly stated that there is no safe level of trans fat consumption, underscoring its profound toxicity to the cardiovascular system. This means that even a single serving of crackers or a seemingly innocent slice of store-bought cake containing what might appear to be negligible amounts can, over time, accumulate to have a significant detrimental impact on your heart. Consider the case of Helen, now 80, but just a few years ago she was still baking with the same brand of shortening she had relied on since the 1960s. Her family began to notice her increasing fatigue and shortness of breath, prompting a visit to her doctor. Tests revealed her cholesterol levels were alarmingly high, and a closer examination of her dietary habits quickly pinpointed the culprit, the hydrogenated oils hidden within that familiar yellow tub. Helen's transformation wasn't instantaneous, but it was profound. Once she made the conscious switch to healthier alternatives like olive oil for baking and began diligently scrutinizing ingredient labels, her energy slowly but steadily returned. Her cholesterol numbers improved, and perhaps most crucially, she regained a powerful sense of control over her own health trajectory. The crucial takeaway here is simple yet vital. If you encounter the words partially hydrogenated oil on an ingredient label, make it a point to put that product back on the shelf. Even if the front of the package proudly proclaims 0 grams of trans fat, current regulations permit manufacturers to round down small amounts, meaning that trace quantities can still be present. These trace amounts accumulate, especially when you are unknowingly consuming them on a daily basis. For example, if you eat a product with 0.49 grams of trans fat per serving, it can be labeled as 0 grams. If you eat multiple servings a day or multiple products with 0 g trans fat, you could still be consuming harmful levels. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here and engaging with the content. And if you haven't yet, I highly recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Your support is instrumental in helping us continue to create valuable content designed to inform and inspire your health journey. Let's move forward and safeguard your heart together. 3. Sugary drinks, the liquid load on your heart. When the conversation turns to protecting heart health, the immediate focus often gravitates towards obvious culprits like fat and salt. Yet, lurking in plain sight, often overlooked, is an equally formidable adversary: sugar, particularly in its liquid form. Sugary drinks, ranging from sodas and sweet teas to seemingly innocent fruit juices, might appear harmless, especially if you've been sipping them for decades without any glaring, immediate health repercussions. Perhaps a chilled cola provides a refreshing afternoon pick-me-up, or a glass of orange juice traditionally accompanies your breakfast. However, the stark reality for individuals over 70 is that their bodies no longer process sugar with the same efficiency or resilience as they once did. And when that sugar arrives in a liquid medium, it bypasses the digestive processes that fiber provides, hitting your system with a swift, almost brutal impact. What makes sugary beverages so profoundly detrimental to the heart isn't merely the sugar content itself, but the sheer speed and intensity with which it floods your bloodstream. When you consume a soda or a sweetened tea, your blood sugar levels spike almost instantaneously. This rapid surge triggers a cascade of physiological responses designed to bring levels back to normal. But over time, these frequent, sharp fluctuations contribute significantly to chronic inflammation throughout the body. Inflammation, often referred to as the silent killer, is a key driver behind the development and progression of heart disease. It damages the delicate inner lining of your arteries, creating a rough, sticky surface where cholesterol and other substances can more easily adhere, forming plaque. This plaque buildup narrows the arteries, impeding the free flow of blood. Your heart, in turn, is forced to pump harder and more forcefully to push blood through these constricted pathways, resulting in increased wear and tear on a system that is already naturally aging. The cumulative effect is a heightened risk of hypertension, coronary artery disease, and other serious cardiovascular conditions. Moreover, a common oversight lies in the perception of fruit juice. While often marketed as a healthy choice, most commercially produced fruit juices are stripped of their natural fiber during processing and can contain as much, if not more, sugar than a can of soda. Without the beneficial presence of fiber to slow down sugar absorption, your body reacts to fruit juice in much the same way it would to a handful of candy. Consider the example of Frank, a 74-year-old who habitually started every morning with a tall glass of apple juice, genuinely believing he was making a healthy choice. After a series of routine checkups, his doctor noted elevated triglycerides and early signs of prediabetes. The culprit, after a detailed dietary review, was traced back to the daily sugar load from the juice, a habit he had never once questioned. Frank's willingness to adapt led him to replace the juice with water infused with fresh lemon or cucumber slices. Within weeks, his energy levels noticeably improved, his abdominal bloating diminished, and, crucially, his heart markers began trending in a healthier direction. When you habitually reach for a sweet drink, especially after 70, it's imperative to pause and ask yourself, is this momentary sweetness truly worth the impending spike in blood sugar and the added pressure on my heart? More often than not, the answer is a resounding no. Even diet sodas, while devoid of sugar, come with their own set of potential problems. Artificial sweeteners may inadvertently trick your brain and metabolism in ways that still lead to increased cravings, potential weight gain, and insulin resistance, underscoring the complexity of dietary choices. The simplest and most effective strategy is to prioritize water, herbal teas, or naturally flavored drinks without any added sugars. If a beverage comes in a bottle or can and tastes sweet, always scrutinize the label. That fleeting convenience could be silently chipping away at your heart health. As you mature, your body's margin for error diminishes, meaning every dietary choice carries greater weight. Eliminating sugary drinks from your daily routine is one of the most straightforward and impactful steps you can take to protect your heart for the long haul. What are your thoughts on the subtle dangers of sugary drinks, even seemingly healthy ones like fruit juice? Share your perspective by commenting with the keyword liquid sugar below. We'd love to hear your experiences and insights. 4. Excess salt, the invisible burden in your pantry. Salt, a universal seasoning, a fundamental element of taste, woven into the culinary fabric of cultures worldwide. We grew up with it, sprinkling it generously over eggs, seasoning vegetables, and relying on it to evoke the comforting flavors of home. Yet, for individuals traversing the terrain of life after 70, salt transcends its role as a mere flavor enhancer. It transforms into a significant, often invisible, risk factor for heart disease. The primary antagonist isn't always the salt you consciously shake from a shaker onto your plate. More often, it's the hidden salt, the pervasive sodium already packed into processed and pre-made foods that populate our grocery store aisles and pantries. These include, but are not limited to, canned soups, frozen dinners, boxed pasta and rice mixes, savory snacks, and a wide array of sauces and condiments. While undeniably convenient, offering an easy solution for quick meals, many of these products contain 2, sometimes even 3 times the amount of sodium recommended for an entire day, let alone a single meal. For aging hearts and blood vessels, already contending with the natural effects of time, this excessive sodium intake can spell serious trouble. When you consume too much salt, your body initiates a compensatory mechanism. It retains more water in an attempt to dilute the overwhelming sodium concentration. This surge in fluid dramatically increases your blood volume, which in turn exerts greater pressure on your arterial walls. Over time, this chronic elevated pressure leads directly to high blood pressure, medically known as hypertension, a leading risk factor for devastating cardiovascular events like heart attacks, strokes, and even progressive kidney damage. If your blood vessels already exhibit a degree of stiffness, a common consequence of aging, that pressure builds even more rapidly, forcing your heart to work relentlessly just to perform its basic life-sustaining function. Consider the narrative of Robert, a 78-year-old who lived alone and, for ease, frequently relied on frozen dinners, chicken and rice dishes, lasagna, and even meals marketed as healthy. He began experiencing unsettling dizzy spells and noticeable swelling in his ankles. A thorough investigation by his doctor, including a deep dive into his dietary habits, revealed that Robert was unknowingly consuming close to 4,000 milligrams of sodium daily, nearly double the safe limit recommended for his age group. Robert's transformation was remarkable once he embraced lower sodium versions of his favorite foods, and crucially started preparing simple meals from scratch, using a vibrant array of herbs and spices instead of relying on salt for flavor. His blood pressure plummeted, the swelling in his ankles subsided, and he even reported improved sleep. The beauty of this change is its simplicity. You don't need to be a gourmet chef. Even straightforward adjustments, such as making your own soup at home with fresh or frozen vegetables and unsalted broth, can cut your sodium intake by more than half. A vital practice to adopt is label scrutiny. If a package proudly displays a sodium content exceeding 20% of your daily value in a single serving, that's a red flag. And remember, most people consume an entire package, not just one serving. The challenge is that salt doesn't always taste salty. Our taste buds habituate to a certain level of seasoning over time. Therefore, the critical first step is simply awareness, diligently checking labels, deliberately choosing low-sodium alternatives, and creatively incorporating herbs, garlic, lemon, and vinegars to imbue flavor without incurring damage. The goal isn't to endure blandness, it's to cultivate a longer, stronger life with a heart that doesn't have to ceaselessly strain just to keep you going. If you're finding these insights valuable and believe in the power of conscious food choices, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're still with us. Your presence and feedback inspire us. Also, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell. This simple act ensures you won't miss our upcoming content, specifically designed to empower your journey towards optimal health. Let's continue this vital conversation. 5. Fried foods, the saturated fat overload and artery armor. There's an undeniable allure to fried foods, that crispy, golden exterior, the satisfying crunch, the indulgent richness that often evokes warmth and nostalgia. Whether it's the aroma of fried chicken on a Sunday, the comfort of onion rings at a beloved diner, or the simple joy of sharing a batch of fries with grandchildren, these culinary experiences hold a special place in our hearts, quite literally. However, once you've surpassed the age of 70, these cherished fried favorites begin to do more than just appease your taste buds. They initiate a slow, silent process of attrition against your heart, gradually eroding its vitality. The primary culprit lies in the type of oils typically used for frying, which are often high in saturated fats. When these oils are heated to the high temperatures required for frying, they undergo chemical changes, breaking down and forming harmful compounds, including advanced glycation end products, AGEs, and oxidized cholesterol. These compounds significantly increase systemic inflammation within the body. Over time, this persistent inflammation targets the delicate inner lining of your arteries, known as the endothelium, making them less flexible, more rigid, and alarmingly prone to the accumulation of plaque. This plaque, a sticky amalgam of cholesterol, damaged cells, and inflammatory substances, narrows the space available for blood to flow freely. When blood flow is impeded, your heart is forced to exert greater effort, pumping more forcefully to push blood through these constricted pathways. This strain, often imperceptible at first, compounds over years until it manifests as chronic fatigue, unexplained shortness of breath, or in more severe cases, a significant cardiac event. It's crucial to understand that this risk isn't exclusively confined to fast food establishments. Even homemade frying, whether utilizing vegetable oil, shortening, or butter, carries similar, if not identical, risks, especially if the oil is reused or overheated. Each time food is submerged in hot fat, it absorbs a considerable amount of that oil, making it harder for the body to metabolize cleanly and contributing to an unhealthy fat load. Consider the poignant story of Doris, a vibrant 75-year-old who upheld a cherished weekly tradition, making fried catfish every Friday, just as her mother had done for decades. Yet, she began to notice that even light activity left her winded. Her doctor, conducting a routine examination, identified early signs of coronary artery disease. A meticulous review of her diet unequivocally pointed to frying as her single largest source of saturated fat. Doris didn't have to abandon her beloved tradition entirely. Instead, she embraced adaptation. She started preparing her catfish in the oven with a light coating of olive oil, baking instead of frying. The satisfying crunch remained, the flavor was still rich and comforting, but her body began to respond with gratitude. There's profound empowerment in making such a shift, not out of fear, but out of a deep and abiding love for your heart. It's a conscious choice for long-term vitality over fleeting, short-term cravings. If you still enjoy fried food occasionally, you are certainly not alone. However, strive to view it for what it truly is, an infrequent, indulgent treat rather than a regular habit. Explore and embrace heart-friendlier cooking methods such as baking, grilling, or air frying. These alternatives offer a similar satisfaction without the lingering, detrimental impact on your cardiovascular health. Your heart is an unwavering engine, working tirelessly for you every second of every day, often without asking for much in return. Every time you consciously choose to bypass the fryer and opt for a cleaner cooking method, you are granting your heart a much-needed reprieve, easing its burden, and ultimately gifting it with more healthy, vibrant years to continue showing up for you. This mindful consideration for what goes onto our plates is a cornerstone of true self-care. 6. Excessive alcohol, the subtle disruption of rhythms. For many, especially within older generations, there's a deeply ingrained belief that alcohol consumed in modest quantities is benign, perhaps even beneficial. A glass of wine with dinner, a cold beer savored on the porch during a warm evening, or a sip of bourbon to unwind after a long day. These rituals feel like intrinsic components of a life well lived, embodying relaxation and enjoyment. However, for individuals navigating life after 70, even seemingly small amounts of alcohol can subtly but significantly become a problem, particularly for the delicate machinery of the heart. As we age, our bodies metabolize and process alcohol far less efficiently. What your liver could readily handle in your 40s or 50s now lingers in your system for extended periods. This prolonged exposure to alcohol affects more than just your cognitive clarity the following morning. It imposes undue pressure on your heart muscle, alters your blood pressure dynamics, and, critically, disrupts the natural electrical rhythms that govern your heartbeat, in ways that can lead to chronic damage. The heart is an exquisitely sensitive organ. Even light to moderate drinking, when sustained over time, can markedly elevate the risk of developing atrial fibrillation, AF, a common type of irregular heartbeat that dramatically increases the likelihood of stroke. Furthermore, alcohol can contribute to the weakening of the heart muscle itself, a condition known as cardiomyopathy, which, if left unaddressed, can progress to debilitating heart failure. What frequently surprises many people is that these risks are not confined solely to heavy, chronic drinkers. They extend to regular, moderate drinkers who may be entirely unaware of how the cumulative effects of their seemingly innocent habits are impacting their cardiovascular system. A couple of drinks, a few nights a week, might feel innocuous in isolation, but over the years, the relentless strain is keenly felt by the heart. Consider the insightful journey of Leonard, an 81-year-old man who surprisingly wasn't a drinker in his younger years. Post-retirement, he cultivated a routine of pouring himself 2 glasses of wine with dinner each evening. He found it relaxing, and he genuinely enjoyed the ritual. However, during a routine medical checkup, his doctor detected irregular heart rhythms and early signs of cardiomyopathy. Leonard wasn't required to abstain completely, but his conscious decision to reduce his alcohol intake to just a few drinks per month yielded significant improvements. His heart rate stabilized, his energy levels rebounded, and perhaps most importantly, his confidence in his ability to actively manage his own health soared. This isn't an indictment of personal choices, nor is it an endorsement of restrictive living. It is fundamentally about awareness. When you are in your 70s or 80s, every physiological system in your body becomes more sensitive, and the heart is no exception. Alcohol, even in small quantities, is a toxin, and your heart must expend additional energy to process and eliminate it. Beyond its direct effects, alcohol also frequently interferes with the efficacy of various medications that many seniors rely upon. Blood pressure pills, cholesterol-lowering drugs, and blood thinners. Alcohol can diminish their effectiveness or exacerbate their side effects, creating a dangerous interplay that compromises treatment outcomes. So, what constitutes a safe and wise approach? The most prudent strategy is to treat alcohol as you would a dessert, an occasional intentional indulgence enjoyed in true moderation. Experiment with swapping that evening alcoholic drink for a calming herbal tea or a glass of sparkling water infused with fresh lemon or cucumber. You might discover that the ritual itself is just as satisfying, and your body will undoubtedly express its profound gratitude. If you're still absorbing these vital insights and finding them valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're still following along. Your engagement fuels our mission. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to ensure you receive all our future content designed to empower your well-being. Let's continue this journey toward a healthier, more vibrant life. Verse 7. Full-fat dairy, the quiet escalation of cholesterol. For countless individuals in their 70s and 80s, full-fat dairy products represent a comforting echo of the past, a connection to simpler times and cherished culinary traditions. A refreshing glass of whole milk in the morning, a hearty slice of cheddar cheese with lunch, or a creamy bowl of ice cream in the evening, these foods are deeply familiar, inherently satisfying, and often intertwined with decades of habits that feel almost too natural to question. Yet, the often overlooked reality is that full-fat dairy, while comforting, can silently exact a considerable toll on your heart, particularly as you age. The core issue lies in the pervasive presence of saturated fat. Whole milk, heavy cream, butter, and many rich cheeses all contain high levels of this particular type of fat. While not all fats are inherently problematic, and indeed healthy fats are crucial, excessive saturated fat intake has been unequivocally linked to a significant increase in low-density lipoprotein LDL cholesterol, often referred to as bad cholesterol. It's this type of cholesterol that has a tendency to accumulate within the arteries, forming fatty plaques that gradually narrow and stiffen these vital blood vessels. This narrowing forces the heart to work harder to propel blood through increasingly restricted spaces, leading to an insidious buildup of pressure. Over time, this chronic strain can culminate in serious cardiovascular conditions such as high blood pressure, angina, chest pain due to reduced blood flow to the heart, and even a heart attack. The deceptive quality of many full-fat dairy products further complicates matters. They don't typically come in vibrant, attention-grabbing packaging, nor are they associated with the obvious unhealthy connotations of fast food. Instead, they reside in the refrigerator, often from trusted brands or even local farms, reinforcing a perception of wholesomeness. This very familiarity can make it challenging to recognize their potential harm. Consider the story of Virginia, a spirited 79-year-old who, like her mother and grandmother before her, cherished cooking with generous amounts of butter. It was a staple in her kitchen. However, after a routine cholesterol check revealed alarmingly high numbers in the high-risk zone, her doctor gently but firmly encouraged her to reduce her intake of full-fat dairy. At first, Virginia was skeptical. "It's just butter," she reasoned. "I'm not eating junk food." Yet once she made the pragmatic switch to using olive oil for most of her cooking and opted for low-fat yogurt instead of full-fat versions, she began to experience a profound transformation. She felt lighter, less sluggish, and crucially, her cholesterol numbers steadily improved over the subsequent months. Her journey underscores that drastic overhauls are rarely necessary. Small, mindful swaps, low-fat milk instead of whole, a sprinkle of feta instead of a thick slice of cheddar, avocado as a spread instead of cheese on toast, can yield substantial health benefits. The foods remained satisfying, but the burden on her heart was significantly reduced. It is also paramount to remember that our metabolism gradually slows with age. The fats your body once efficiently burned off in your younger years now tend to linger longer. This means that excessive saturated fat doesn't just affect your cholesterol profile. It also contributes to unwanted weight gain and can exacerbate insulin resistance, both of which place additional unnecessary stress on your heart. The aim isn't to completely eliminate all dairy, but rather to cultivate a heightened awareness of how much of your dairy intake is full fat, how frequently you consume it, and whether there are simple, healthier alternatives that can provide similar comfort without exacting such a high cost on your heart. Your body, irrespective of age, remains remarkably responsive to the nourishment you provide. Every small, informed choice accumulates, leading to something far greater: renewed energy, enhanced mental clarity, and the profound confidence that you are actively investing in the health and vitality of your future self. Number 8, refined carbohydrates, the blood sugar roller coaster and empty calories. There is an undeniable comfort in the yielding softness of white bread, the delightful sweetness of a pastry accompanying morning coffee, or a simple bowl of breakfast cereal before bed. These foods often embody simplicity, familiarity, and a perceived ease of digestion. However, for individuals navigating the complexities of life after 70, refined carbohydrates emerge as one of the most deceptively dangerous threats to long-term heart health. Refined carbohydrates are grains that have undergone extensive processing, a procedure that strips away their natural fiber, essential vitamins, and vital minerals. What remains is predominantly a simple starch, which, once consumed, is rapidly converted into sugar upon entering your bloodstream. This swift conversion triggers a dramatic spike in blood sugar levels, which then, just as rapidly, plummets, leaving you feeling fatigued, hungry, and paradoxically, more prone to overeating. This relentless roller coaster effect isn't merely taxing on your energy levels, it imposes a significant strain on your heart. The repeated cycles of blood sugar spikes and subsequent crashes contribute to the development of insulin resistance, a condition where your body's cells become less responsive to insulin. Over time, insulin resistance can directly lead to the onset of type 2 diabetes, promote unhealthy weight gain, and fuel chronic inflammation, all of which are major, well-established risk factors for serious cardiovascular disease. Because these foods are often consumed daily, toast in the morning, a sandwich for lunch, a cookie in the evening, the cumulative damage accumulates silently, often unnoticed until blood pressure begins to climb, the waistline expands, or the heart itself starts to signal distress. Consider the illustrative case of Carl, an active 82-year-old who had navigated most of his life primarily on a diet of white toast, peanut butter crackers, and bowls of sugary cereal. These foods were convenient, easy to prepare, and didn't cause him immediate digestive upset. However, after his doctor noted rising blood sugar levels and early indicators of cardiac stress, they engaged in a crucial conversation about his carbohydrate choices. Carl wasn't forced to abandon bread entirely. He simply needed to transition to whole grains. He wisely traded his white bread for sprouted grain alternatives, swapped sugary cereal for wholesome oats, and replaced refined snacks with nutrient-dense fruit and nuts. The transformation was swift and remarkable. Within weeks, his energy levels soared, his appetite stabilized, and his blood sugar swings ceased. What many older adults may not fully grasp is the vital role of fiber, the very component missing from refined carbohydrates. Fiber acts as a crucial buffer, slowing down digestion, maintaining stable blood sugar levels, and actively helping to sweep excess cholesterol out of the body. Without this crucial protection, your heart becomes more vulnerable. Furthermore, refined carbohydrates are largely empty calories. They may provide a fleeting sense of fullness, but offer little in the way of true nourishment. This means your body receives calories without receiving the essential tools it needs for repair, protection, and sustained energy, leaving you more susceptible to chronic fatigue, unwanted weight gain, and a higher risk of cardiovascular issues. Replacing refined carbohydrates with their whole grain counterparts doesn't equate to sacrificing everything you enjoy. It means choosing brown rice over white, opting for whole grain crackers instead of saltines, or even experimenting with almond or oat flour in your baking instead of conventional white flour. These dietary shifts might appear minor on their own, but their cumulative impact is profound. They empower your body to maintain steady blood flow, consistent energy, and foster a heart that no longer has to contend with dramatic sugar swings and perpetual inflammation. The objective isn't unattainable perfection. It's tangible protection, achievable through consistent, small, and conscious steps. When you consciously fuel your body with better, more complex carbohydrates, your heart expresses its gratitude in ways you can tangibly feel every single day, from your boundless stamina to your restorative sleep, and most importantly, to your profound peace of mind knowing you're making choices for your well-being. Now that we've journeyed through the intricate landscape of these 8 common food categories, each with its silent, often insidious, impact on the aging heart, take a moment for reflection. Were there any revelations that surprised you? Any foods you've been consuming regularly, perhaps out of habit or convenience, without truly grasping their potential long-term implications for your body? This exploration is not intended to evoke guilt or regret, but rather to ignite a powerful sense of awareness and empower you with knowledge. The immutable truth is that after 70, your heart's capacity to recover from sustained strain diminishes significantly. This vital physiological reality means that every single dietary choice you make, no matter how small, assumes a heightened level of importance. The incredibly good news, however, is that your body, a testament to its remarkable resilience, remains perpetually ready to respond positively when you provide it with the right kind of support and nourishment. Perhaps for you, this journey begins with a simple swap, choosing nutrient-rich oats over sugary cereal in the morning. Or perhaps it involves a more conscious decision, replacing prepackaged deli meats with freshly roasted homemade slices of turkey. It might even be as straightforward as becoming more mindful of your daily sodium intake, reevaluating your consumption of sweet beverages, or lessening your reliance on highly processed foods for convenience. What truly matters most in this ongoing quest for optimal health is consistent progress, not an elusive ideal of perfection. Every small, informed step you take is a powerful affirmation of your commitment to a vibrant, independent future. So let me pose this question to you. Of all the insights shared today, what resonated most deeply with you? Which of these 8 proposed changes feels most feasible and impactful for your life right now? Thank you for joining us on this vital exploration of heart health. Your journey towards a more conscious, heart-protective lifestyle is incredibly important, and we are honored to be a part of it. We are eager to hear your thoughts and experiences. Please leave a comment below and share just one thing you learned today and how you envision integrating it into your daily life. Your insights are invaluable to our community, offering inspiration and motivation to others. If you found this video insightful and helpful, please extend your support by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and remembering to turn on the notification bell. Your engagement empowers us to continue creating high-quality content designed to inform, inspire, and empower you on your path to lasting well-being. Thank you for watching, and we eagerly anticipate connecting with you in our next video, continuing to build a community of empowered, heart-healthy individuals.